Good morning. It's been a hard week for me, health-wise.
Hello, I'm Joe.
And I'm Jessica.
Years back, we set out to find a lifestyle that allowed us to live comfortably, homeschool our 3 children, and make a life and legacy we would be proud of.
Reselling liquidated goods both online and locally through our bin store was the vehicle that allowed us to do just that.
It's hard work, it's constantly changing, but we wouldn't trade it for the world.
Here's the story of how our small business runs in the midst of all the challenges life throws at us.
As always, thank you for stopping by, and come on in.
In the past, I haven't really talked about this because I didn't want it to seem like I was asking for pity or sympathy. But it's been really, really hard, and there are days and weeks and months that are harder than others. It's probably been about a week and a half since I've started having symptoms that make me feel deep down in my bones extremely fatigued and tired, but at the same time, restless legs, a lot of anxious feelings, things like that. I also have things like stomach cramps and really painful acne. Those haven't been as bad this round. A lot of it just feels like extreme fatigue, appetite changes, brain fog, things like that. I got a test kit in the mail. It's supposed to check your microbiome. I sent some samples in yesterday. At this point in my journey, I've gotten my hopes up and been disappointed so many times. So I now kind of maintain this level of, hey, maybe we'll find something, maybe we won't. And it's just kind of a way to protect my own self. Anyways, the reason why I want to be so vocal about this now is that I realized recently that there are a lot of people who are struggling with something, and they think that thing is going to prevent them from achieving their dreams. And I don't believe that that's true, because the entire time that I have built this YouTube and built the store, I had been struggling with this. But it required a lot of perspective change, and it required a lot of introspection. I had to realize that the way that I was going to do this in my mind, it was not going to be something that I was going to be able to do. And I had to get creative. I feel like that's an important part of our journey, and I think it would resonate with a lot of people. But life goes on, and it doesn't matter how sick I am. Things are still moving, things are still going forward, and I have to figure out a way to be here. But I'm here today, and I am feeling good, and right now Joe and I are... Hey, Joe.
Hi.
We are here. We're trying to figure out the plan for the next installment of how we are going to improve our store and grow it. And I'm very excited about that. All right. So in order to grow our business any more than we've already grown it, we have to have 3 things in place first.
Get out of the way. That's for her to get out.
Kind of, but we'll get to that.
So if you've been following along our story for the last, month, 2 months, or any time, really, you could probably, if you've been intuitive, paying attention, figure out what those 3 things are, possibly. One is parking, right? Is that on our busy days, our parking lot has filled up to where it's a little bit of a cluster parking jam, is that what they're called? No, traffic jam. It's a traffic jam out there, y'all. And the place next door, all of the junk cars, they have moved all of the junk cars away. There are only a few more scraps of cars that remain, and then we'll be able to utilize that space, which will give us probably an additional 15 to 20 parking spots.
So many more room
huge
for activities.
Right? So it's like, I keep thinking of Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, right? Because like these 3 things, like we have to have in order to grow the business. And we can be reactive and do it afterwards, or we can have a methodical, systematic plan to maximize the efforts and make it towards not so like hectic
and stressful. And I don't know about you, but I choose the latter.
Right.
So thing number 2 that we need to grow
is people. We need more employees.
But luckily, we've actually solved this problem for the most part. Obviously, this is always going to change as the needs of the business change, but we have hired 2 more part-time people. We have William, who just started a little less than a week ago. Tomorrow will be his 1 week.
Yeah.
1 week. So we have him. He's trained. He's doing great.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful that we hired him. And I get to meet employee number 2 tomorrow, Peyton. Joe's met her.
Yeah.
She seems really great. Joe's a great judge of character, so I'm not worried at all. I'm really excited.
That's what
really
she
excited.
said.
I mean, you chose me.
I know, right? So we've got that, and then also with that, it's like, yes, we need more people, but at the same time, it's like there's an increased workload for everybody. There's things that I've been neglecting for a long time as the owner-operator that I need to do, and in order for me to be able to do that, I need Krista and Ron to do more of what I'm doing on a shift-by-shift basis.
And that means that Ron and Krista will have to find ways to delegate to the employees.
Yeah, but that's why we have more people starting.
And the last thing is store layout. And wrong owner operator. Hold on 1 second.
That's better. So the layout of the store we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's really kind of taken on a mind of its own, except for it's controlled by my superpower brain mind. I don't know, I say that. ADHD, they say superpower is thinking outside the box. And that's what I've done. It's like I was going one direction with the store layout, and now I have some brand new ideas because of thinking outside of the box. But when we first started out, this was the layout, just like this, where we had 35 bins, 4 foot by 4 foot area bins, even though it wasn't like 35 individual bins. There are 5 rows, and then we expanded to where we are right now. So we went from the 35 bins to the 38 bins, which is where we are right now. And we're in the process of like finality, like we're ready to expand, we're ready to change the layout, but it's going to take a lot of work because we've got the fake wall that we put up. And before we made that final, and before we started infringing upon the stock room, I wanted to make sure that the layout was the best way possible. And I've been thinking about it with how we currently use things, but I had the idea today. The floor plans I've been drawing up were based off of using the aisle retail shelves as aisle retail shelves. But when we're not confined to that, we have a whole new plethora of options available that I didn't think about before. So the best way to do this would be to come show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we got these 2 aisles or these shelves back in January to expand the retail section. And during that time, we were able to get a consistent program to stock these shelves. But that program went bye-bye. But what I was talking about with these aisles is, you think like, oh, these are aisle shelves, I have to set them up as aisles, right? You don't. They can actually become the wall to the stock room. Is we can remove these walls, make these shelves into the new wall, and only utilize one side.
Genius.
The other side we can use in the stock room for storage because we need it. So the plan is just to put these along the wall. Now we're gonna keep using this paneling, and what we'll do is we'll just cut it down just a little bit because they will fit right down into these walls to where it still have the same look, but it won't be see-through like this is right here. It's gonna save us a lot of money. So then what we can do with this space, like imagine these 2 aisles are gone, then this whole space can be filled up with bins to expand from 38 bins, what we have right now, to 55 bins. So we're talking about a growth of almost 50% more bins. That's a lot of stuff. So I guess technically should be an asterisk in here, the 3 things that kind of need to happen to grow. There's an asterisk involved, and that's the roof. Is that our roof leaks. It's been leaking. It's leaking in more places than it ever has before. And I've been afraid to move the store around because of how the bins would be aligned with where the leaks are in the ceiling. But the landlord is getting the roof fixed. They're actually looking at getting a brand new roof put on, which would stop the leaks, I hope. And we may have some new leaks that pop up while the new roof is being put on. I don't know. But I don't have to fear about or worry about the roof leaking and where we put the bins, if it's going to start leaking, and how's it going to be when it's raining, if it's going to mess stuff up, or if it starts raining overnight and then new leaks pop up and ruining the merchandise. So what did we get done yesterday, Jessica?
Well, let me tell you. So we've already started breaking down these, well, obviously not this one because it's still there.
It's still there.
But there used to be 2 retail wall sections. We've got a ton of clothes. We're trying to move through a lot of them. So we went ahead and replaced those with clothing. So next step would be to take this one down and try to consolidate.
Put it right down there. And that's what we're doing today, is replacing this wall with that, to where we're not going to use both sides, just the one side. And then on this side over here, there will be storage on this side.
Which honestly, I never would have thought about. It's that ADHD superpower that Joe has, and I'm like, that is genius. So I was actually talking to a couple of employees. I was actually talking to Whitney yesterday, and she was like, yeah, that sounds just like something Joe would come up with. So we're thankful for you, Joe.
Thank you. But to see this in action, I've been getting it set up to move all of this, all of these 3 sections without having to take it all apart, put it somewhere and then put it back together. I don't want to do all that, so I'm trying to fabricate a design to lift it up and then move all 3 sections at the same time. I think it'll work. I've done it before, but not with these. But to see that, you're gonna have to catch it in the next episode, because that's where this one ends.
So until next time, friends, peace.